One of the videos I've gotten the most positive feedback on is the Instant Pot butter chicken video. But my patrons asked me in my monthly poll if I could do a stovetop version. So here we go, butter chicken on the stovetop. Now seriously, if you haven't made the Instant Pot version, I highly recommend it. It's really good. Sometimes you want to take it to the next level and completely blow away the Instant Pot version. Quick and easy, definitely has its place, but when you have the time to put into a dish to really make it right, there's something special about that. So here we go, inspired by my favorite YouTube cooking show, Michael Martin's The Full Measure, I offered up to my patrons a stovetop version of butter chicken rather than the Instant Pot version. The Full Measure was a show that started at the beginning of the COVID pandemic in 2020, and sadly it only ran for about 6 months, but it was a great concept. Michael would do a recipe 2 different ways. One, bare minimum effort to achieve it, usually using a store-bought version that gets jazzed up just a little bit, and then a second version, which is a much more time and labor intensive. I'm not doing that in one video, but this is a follow-up. It is inspired by that. So Michael, thank you for helping inspire me to get into YouTube. I already talked a bunch about butter chicken in my previous video, so let's just get into the recipe. To make butter chicken on the stovetop, here's what you'll need. A lemon, ginger, garlic, oil, ghee, red onion, cumin, cinnamon and cardamom, a spice mixture, crushed tomatoes, water, chicken thighs, butter, cream, and cilantro. Before we get into the recipe, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe down below. That way you can follow along as I offer up tips, tricks, and recipes every Tuesday. First things first, let's juice your lemon, get it out of the way. Lemon juice is an important part of this recipe. It balances everything out, but we just want to get that done and taken care of before we dive in. The next step is to make another ingredient that is common in South Asian cooking, a ginger garlic paste. This is real simple. If you wanted to, you can grate the ginger and garlic using a ceramic grater, like I demonstrated in my Instant Pot video. But if you're working in a bulk version, there's a way to do much more, much faster. Ginger garlic paste is a really simple 2-to-1 ratio of ginger, garlic, and cooking oil, all measured by weight. I have 100 grams each of ginger and garlic. Add your cooking oil. This is just straight up vegetable oil. You can use peanut oil, really whatever, just a high temp oil that will help lubricate and create an emulsion. Just add the ingredients to the blender and process on low speeds until you end up with a nice thick paste. Got my Dutch oven preheating, camera's set over that so I can capture all that action. Here's my mise en place. The ghee, followed by the onions, cumin, cinnamon, and coriander, then the ginger garlic paste. Our spice mix, lastly the tomatoes and water. Once we have the sauce going, then we're going to start preparing the chicken. That just needs a quick marinade with lemon, ginger, and garlic. All right, here we go. Quick pinch of salt. Now honestly, the onions cook for quite a while. They're gonna go for like 15 to 18 minutes. If you wanted to take some time and set up your mise en place for all your other ingredients, this is the place where you can save that time. While the onions cook, gather all your spices and get ready to go. Onions frying in ghee is one of the best smells. I love my kitchen right now. It's hard to describe, but the smell of the onions will change when they get brown. Once you notice that the onions are starting to smell more roasty, crispy, you're almost there. Get ready, have your mise en place set. Once you get to that point and once you see that the onions are all starting to take on browning, go ahead and add the cumin. That gets stirred in and continue cooking. What we're really doing here is building up layers of flavor. The onions are going to be the aromatic base of our dish. The various spices we're going to toast to really bring out those flavors. Cumin takes the longest to bloom and become fragrant, which is why we start with it. Then in goes the cinnamon stick and the ground cardamom. I can smell this already. I've barely even stirred it in. Time to move on. The ginger garlic paste is going to stick like nothing else. So, once you get that in there, don't stop stirring. Suddenly the bottom of my pot is covered in what will shortly become fond. All right. Ginger and garlic are now dominating the smell. In go the last of our spices. Since these are all ground, they're going to bloom pretty quickly. So just stir them in, and I smell the cayenne and the turmeric. Now, in go the tomatoes. If I weren't cooking this for a video, I would have just added the tomatoes directly from the can and then filled the can with water and sort of got all the last bits of the tomato goodness there. Be sure to deglaze the bottom. You don't want that ginger, garlic, or any of the spices sticking and burning. You can kick the heat up because we want to bring this up to a boil. Okay, throwing the sauce together is the most fast, frenetic pace of this whole recipe. It goes real quick once those onions have reached the browning point. From here, what we're going to do is get the sauce up to a boil, bring it down to a simmer, and let that cook for 30 minutes. That's just really going to build on that base of flavors that we have with those aromatic onions and all those spices. While that's going, we need to do a quick marinade on the chicken. I got this step watching an Indian chef prepare chicken tikka masala. What we're gonna do is sprinkle, I don't know, 40, 45 mils of lemon juice across our chicken thighs. And yes, it should be chicken thighs. Those are just going to cook better. Chicken breasts are going to get very tough and kind of gross. We're going to rub the thighs with some ginger garlic paste. The reason we're doing this now and not, hours ago as our first step, acid in the lemon will start to denature the proteins in the chicken, and it will actually make the chicken tough if it sits for too long. This just gives it a chance to soften the chicken a little bit and then start to pick up some of those ginger garlic flavors. Okay, this sits for about 20 minutes, at which point our sauce is going to be basically done simmering. As for your ginger garlic paste, this stuff keeps in the fridge for about a week, so go nuts, go to town, find some Thai recipes or other Indian food, and it makes a wonderful flavor base for any number of dishes. Once the chicken is marinated for 20 minutes and the sauce has simmered for 30, go ahead and load the chicken in. You want to nestle it down into the sauce, make sure everything gets coated. Don't worry about shaking off excess marinade or anything like that. It's just going to add more ginger and garlic to the recipe. Kick your heat up to high and bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling, drop it down to low heat and place the cover. This is going to cook for 60 to 90 minutes. After 60 to 90 minutes, once your chicken is fully cooked and nice and tender, turn off the heat, and pull it off the stove. Just like the Instant Pot version, we're going to remove the chicken, puree and finish the sauce, then recombine everything. At this point, the chicken is just beautifully fall apart tender. Make sure you get all the chicken, you don't want to blend that up. And when you find the cinnamon stick, go ahead and discard it. It's done everything it's going to do, and it's not going to get blended up. For the moment, set the chicken to the side. I'm using my traditional blender rather than my immersion blender because we're going to be pureeing this with a bit more gusto. We want it to be a much smoother sauce. We have all those dried spices in there that work against a smooth sauce. So really pureeing it, we'll be able to achieve the texture that we want. Now you want to strain it into a clean pot. You don't need a particularly wide mesh on your strainer. It's really just to catch big pieces of the spices. Looks really good, but I'm gonna get it back up to a boil, bring it down to a simmer, and then pull it back here so that I can whisk in the butter and the cream to finish. All right, while that reheats, we are going to just go ahead and gently tear, shred, break apart the chicken. Bite-sized chunks. All right, with our sauce hot again, add the butter. I should have pulled this out of the fridge earlier. Gonna need a bigger whisk. Beautiful sheen. At this point, you want to taste your sauce and then adjust flavors with salt and lemon juice as needed. Once you're satisfied, fold the chicken back in, and you are ready to serve. There are so many flavors here. Just those really deeply browned onions, all of the spices, the cinnamon, the turmeric, the cayenne, black pepper, everything. Oh, so good. And then ginger and garlic, sure, but neither of those are super apparent. You get the tingle from the ginger, definitely. I wouldn't put this as a dish that has so much garlic. Chicken is fall apart tender. What makes this different from the Instant Pot version is really the time that was put into it. The Instant Pot version is great. It's fast. It turns out a really good product in a really fast amount of time. And that's wonderful. That's what it does. Wouldn't change it for the world. But this is just better. All the time that was spent to really brown those onions, toast the spices, simmer that sauce so the flavors got to mingle, and then braise the chicken for 90 minutes. The level of flavor here just can't be matched with a quick and easy thing. Quick and easy Instant Pot butter chicken, I love it. I make it. That is a recipe that I wanted to do here because I make it at home. Same thing here. When I have the time, I like to do the longer form version because it is just, oh, it's so good. They're both very clearly good versions of butter chicken. This is just a step above. What you put into it is definitely worth it. You get so much more flavor coming out of the stovetop version, but you don't always have the time. I get it. Now you have the option for when you have the time and when you don't. Thank you for watching. I'm PK Sullivan. This is Breakfast for Pancakes, and I'll see you next time.